Back here again, Sydney Motorsport Park, under lights for round 2 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars. These guys heading out tonight, keen to claw back some points that have already been laid down earlier in round 1, but there's still plenty of season to go. Joining me on the mic tonight is the Master Chef himself, Scott Shembry from Blaze Unit.
Thanks, Dave. Great to be back, mate. How good are these shots of the open pits here? You know, everyone can come in, hang out with the drivers, killer atmosphere. It's pretty cold out here tonight, but you know, the drivers are going to heat it up and going to be plenty of action, I reckon. Yeah,
and look at that lead Bo the Show has to chase down from Mick Rosenblatt, who took out round 1 in that Newlon R32, followed by Brad Toohey, Mitchell Jeffrey and Warwick Hill, rounding out the top 5. Now, there's been a bit of a change to the competition this year with the one more run rule. Let's head down to find out how that works.
Here is Dan Mackey, the head judge. Mate, tell us a bit more about the one more run.
Yeah, Scott, look, it's a new thing that they've been running a little bit internationally. We're running it here as well. The key thing about it really is to make sure that it's running a bit more smooth in the event, so we're getting things through quicker. An event like this, it's a short format event, you know, we're in and out and done, and pretty much the competition time is only 3 hours. And the way that it works is that if we can't split the battle at the end of the first 2 passes, so they'll have a lead and a chase each, then we send them for one more run. Now, whoever qualified higher will get to choose whether or not they chase or whether they lead. Totally up to them. We've got no influence over it after that point, so they can choose based on the driver they're up against whether or not they lead or chase. So it adds a little bit of strategy from that point of view, adds some interest for the viewers back at home certainly, and it's something that really going to excite the crowd here at the track to see which way they go, and the drivers are going to have to make their right call, because if you get the wrong call and the guy chases really hard and you've chosen to lead, you could throw that battle out the door. So this just speeds the whole event up and makes it more exciting.
I'm here with the man they call Anthony Hectic Billick. Missed round 1, mate. Why weren't you there? You're back now round 2. Good to see you here. Are you excited? And what have you done to the car?
Thank you very much. Yeah, we didn't know direction that we were going to go with the sponsors and the support and help for round 1. So I just jumped in to help Mo O'Hooley from Melbourne, you know. And then since I was here for round 1, it just cheated me up. I wanted to try, you know, get back out there. So thanks to Takumi Oars, they jumped on board for this year now. They helped me out with AAA Tyre Factory again as well. Mechanically wise, it's still mint, you know, Mixed Motorsports tunes unreal with all the other sponsors on board, keeping it running with the pit crew as well today. So I just wanted to drive and haven't been out, you know, I've been hanging to drive, try some tyres. You know, it's been since April and I'm just hanging to get back out there.
I'm here with Adam Beckers all the way from Newcastle. Mate, you the series, you're here in round 1. How'd you find it? How'd you go?
Round 1 was insane. I got hooked on round 5 from last year. I was up in the crowds and it was the best thing I've ever seen. Absolutely hands down. I had to do it, so come round 1, I was all for it. Paid the money, got the car up to scratch. Here I was. But unfortunately, got taken out due to in practice due to a snapped lower control arm. So unfortunately, that was the end of my night. We got it home, new control arms in there. We're back here loving it and destroying tyres.
So a bit of carnage down in the pits throughout practice and before heading into qualifying. We've got Bo Yates here who had a throwout bearing and clutch issue. Seeing him step into the car of his protege, Glenn Ormerod, in that NA13B KE70, and man, did he shred it, Scott.
Yeah, it just proves, you know, why he's the show. He always goes out there and does those consistent runs, and to jump into a car that he hasn't driven before and lay down that 3rd place is killer work for him again. Obviously next we got me boy Javit coming around, 2nd place tonight. Obviously he's a bit fired up from round 1, not getting where he wanted to finish, so he's been pushing hard tonight.
But there on top is Brad Toohey, hungry to come out on top of this championship already. Fought hard in round 1 and he's definitely going to be bringing it in the battles tonight. With that 94.66 as a top qualified, James Abbott so close behind, and Bo Yates, 3 of those guys up above that 90, but Arbolino and Benny Meir were right there with him as well. Speaking of carnage though, Mitch Sanders, the bad luck magnet, putting a couple of inspection windows in the side of his block. Let's go check it out.
I'm here with Mitch Sanders. Obviously, mate, not a great start to your night. As you can see, your car's bleeding a little bit of blood. What happened, mate?
So I was out there pushing hard. I've made a lot of changes since the last round that gave me a lot of the issues that I was facing are completely gone. So I was pushing really hard and I got, I think, 4 laps in. I was online, really happy with how I was driving. And then the car just said, no more, Mitchy, no more.
So unfortunately, Mitch on the trailer, but James Abbott there, ready and raring to go out. We've had our qualifying out of the way. We've now got the top 16 shaping up a ladder and ready to qualify. So Brad Toohey is a top qualifier there, getting the automatic bye against last place Mitch Sanders. And then trickling back to the middle, we have second versus second last, so on and so forth. So the guys who really nailed qualifying end up there and getting those easy battles early on. First battle we're going to see, though, is the battle of the SR20s. Anthony Billick up against Josh Kelly.
Let's see what the boys can throw down here, Dave. The SR versus the SR. Billick out in the lead with JK on the chase.
Your favourite frothers, mate. How's that noise? Getting up it?
Yeah, the little whippersnippers going hard. Billick a little bit offline that entry. The judges want to see you really push out wide and get close to the edge of the track. JK's putting in a good chase here as we jump on board with him from the in-car.
How's the view there of what is a pretty much stock stripped S13 interior? He goes so hard, JK. You know, this car's really been developed. That killer new wrap that's on there, and, you know, it's a really, really nice car. And Josh just kills it on the drive as well.
Yeah, JK stepping up this year, you know, jumping into the pros, throwing down with the big boys, and you know, he's stepping up really quick, and the car's pretty basic, but you know, he's going to continue modding it throughout the season and, you know, pushing hard to get up there.
Tough battle to go up against in that top 16, though. Billick has so much experience under his belt, and when this S13's working, I mean, he's had a few issues, but this thing seems to be on note tonight. Bit of an exhaust leak that I initially thought, you know, was some engine troubles, but by the way Billick's been driving it, he's switched on and ready to go. And look at him just trying to tuck in here, but, you know, for someone so new to the series, Josh Kelly's really got that speed through the bottom section. But an issue.
Oh, no. Poor JK. He had a killer lead run going on there. Out wide on that entry where the judges want to see. Push him wide down the bottom corner. And unfortunately, something's happened to the vehicle. We'll have to find out what's going on.
Yeah, looks like a big drop in power or something there, just ready to go for that entry. But Billick not hesitating for a second, throwing a rear bar at him and saying, see you, mate.
Robert Arbolino in the lead, chased by Finio here, all the way from Melbourne. In that killer S15, you know, Finney's been battling some problems as a brand new build car, but he's been getting through them, and you know he's going to keep him pushing hard and hopefully get him up there.
Yeah, that fluoro wrap is absolutely wild on Finney's car, and you know it seems to make quite a bit of power, but nothing even comes close to calling what we affectionately named the company car there, the Hi-Tec Oils 350Z twin turbo LS under the bonnet, and man can Rob drive it.
Oh mate, he's angry. You know he's been doing some mods to the car to really step it up and get up there this year, and it's really paying off. As you can see, the thing's absolutely baking tyres. You know, it's got the MCA suspension in it now, really pushing that grip down to the road surface, and it's really showing.
Yeah, no stories, man. Rob Arbolino straight to the advantage there, and now he is in the chase. Finney getting a chance at some free air without that big smoke screen in front of him. Tipping a lot of angle in there, but looks... Oh, he managed to hold on to it. A lot of steering angle in the front of that car, but, you know, possibly to the detriment of speed. It didn't look too quick through there, Scott.
Throwing in that big angle, mate, hitting those tyres, you know, slows you down in the speed. Rob pushing hard in the chase for this last bit of the racetrack. See if he can get up on Finney's door as they go through the last corner.
Woo, that's tight.
Mate, that's where you want to be, right there on Finney's door, pushing around the edge of that track. That's exactly what the judges want to see, mate.
And we saw it to the end of the last season with Rob as well, sometimes getting, you know, frustrated behind some slower drivers, but he seems to have really nailed reeling in that big power turbo LS, and it's worked for him. He's through to the top 8.
Yeah, Benny Meir up against Michael Bonney in the chase all the way from Melbourne. That big V8 from Benny Meir with Bonney in that 800 horsepower 2J S15 behind him. Beautiful car.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that for once an LS swapped drift car out on the track is at a disadvantage for power. Go the mighty J.
Too many of the eights on the track. Benny doing a killer lap here, mate. Nice and wide, exactly where... Oh, he's dropped the wheel.
Ooh. Possibly just going a little bit deep there, but he had some good speed up the straight. I think, you know, getting really aggressive and trying to lose that big power car of Bonney behind him, but Bonney absolutely unfazed. The only thing is, last time we saw him here on the figure 8, he had a bit of an excursion up the wall, and you know, I've seen, you know, that bank seems to be scaring him a little bit. So will he be able to bring that aggression into the top sweeper that the judges want to see?
Oh, he's nice and wide there. Benny Meir right on his door as they come through that first corner.
just seems to be a step behind though. Every transition, Bonnie's making it, then Mir, and that's so important for the judges is they want to see these cars emulated. Regardless of where you are as a chase car, you should be close enough to be able to switch direction at the same time. And it looks like Michael Bonnie, corner after corner, is just pulling away from Benny Mir.
Killer lead run by Michael Bonnie, proving up there why he's a seasoned veteran. That 2J S15 really proving their horsepower out there and pulling away from Benny Mir.
Yeah, really seemed to pedal it nicely as well, and coming through for a top 8 spot. And that's what's on the line here now with Daniel Christie behind, throwing it into practically a spin and a big fishtail. I mean, Javid had a bit of a dirt drop there, but I mean, judges have to see that advantage early on with Christie just trying to pick up the pieces through the rest of the run.
Messy from Jabbert, messy from Christie, but I think the mistake was bigger from Christie as they continue the lap. Obviously, Christie's got a problem there. I don't know what's going on, but he's been off boost pretty much half the race, so obviously mechanical going on with his car. Hopefully he can get it sorted.
Yeah, I mean, that RX-7 has a turbo larger than my head, which is pretty big in itself. And, this thing, I believe it's a quarter or triple rotor under there, and seeing it coming in from some big track sections, it is absolutely glowing under there. So I can't even imagine what it's like to keep a big turbo, big power rotary on boost on such a tight circuit. But see if in the lead position he has any better of a crack at it. That looks a bit wide.
He's running a bit wide there. I think something might actually be wrong with his steering there, Dave. He's running wide everywhere. It looks like he hasn't got the grip that he usually has on this track. Jabbert trying to do the best that he can do behind him. A little bit messy.
How's that though? When it's on, it is on. The rocket ship RX-7 just posing up that bottom straight there, but then, maybe missing the gear selection on the down change. And it's been a bit of a battle of mistakes here, and lucky for your teammate James Avid, I think he's able to come out on top of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Christie's car just wasn't working well. When it's on song, it's on song, and it's one of the crowd favourites. So hopefully he gets that sorted.
Here we go now, 2 extra oddball cars as well. We've got Aaron Duar there with the Carby swapped late model LS V8 under the bonnet of an S14, chased by Warwick Hill in the 2J, I believe, or 1J swapped E46 BMW.
2J BMW, I'm pretty sure there now. They've done a conversion just before this round. But Aaron Dwyer out in the lead doing exactly what the judges want to see. Let's see if he can get wide out to the edge of the racetrack. Nice by Aaron.
He's becoming a real name to reckon with in this series. I mean, just really nailing the line that the judges are looking for, and so comfortable in that S14.
You can tell he's been working really, really hard on getting that first corner dialed in, and it's really showing out there in all these lead runs. Let's see if he can do it in the chase now.
That's the noise of a race car right there. Let's ride on board. It's really that sound clip there that gives you a feel for the difference between driving an NA V8 car and a turbo, straight 6 or any sort of Japanese motor on this track is while Warwick's working so hard to, clutch it back onto power and try and make sure he's up in that boost range, Aaron Duar's able to just, pedal on and, not taking anything away from his driving effort either, which was absolutely exceptional, hearing those straight cut gears grind. But, just the difference in driving styles there is he's able to be so much more dialed and fiddle around there. And talking about an NA weapon of a completely different kind, Bo Yates in that carbureted 13B KE70.
Let's see what Adam Becker can do in the chase, pulling away from old mate Bo in the lead. Such a nice presented car, old mate Glenn's car, and really shows in the track. A basic car like we always said, but it's got that killer suspension setup and good wheel speed, and really shows out on the racetrack.
How's that line though? I mean, you can tell instantly that that's Bo behind the wheel, going down there, nailing that outside bottom straight, but Adam Becker's doing everything he can to chase down that little box of Glenn Ormerod's, and, great battle and great show out there from Adam Becker's, but when you go up against Bo in the top 16, you're going to get hurt.
After dramas in round 1, it's just good to see him get out there and do a clean battle. Let's see what he can do now in the lead with Bo in the chase and that little killer KE.
Seems to really be getting up that Safira. It's a LS under the bonnet there, and Adam seems very, very comfortable with this car, but Bo, right there on that chase technique, obviously thinking about not bending Glenn's car that we'll see a bit later on in the Pro Am series.
him out there. Obviously shallow. The judges want to see you really wide out there, so he'll get marked down accordingly to that one.
But again, you know, being able to see that difference in skill there of Bo being able to not only follow a much higher-powered car, but actually improve on the line in some places. You know, going that little bit wider to the track edge, up through that top sweeper there as well, taking the wider line without sacrificing proximity, and that's what you really want to see from someone stepping it up in the chase.
Mitchell Jeffries in the lead with Mitch Cole in the chase. That Killer 2J package that Mitch has under the bonnet there, obviously doing its thing.
Yeah, really, really nicely set up S13. You know, this thing came from Camo Mate years ago, and Mitch Jeffries has been putting so much time and effort into this, fiddling with the rear end setup, you know, getting everything under the bonnet right. And Mitch Cole as well, you know, he's definitely been spinning spanners outside of this series as well, because that car really used to lob around and, you know, it wasn't looking as planted, but Mitch has just been driving so much more nicely since he got that V8 powered S13. A little bit flatter and responding to what he wanted to do, but Mitch Jeffries still getting the advantage.
One of the young and up-and-comers of the series. Let's see what he can do in the lead. He's been working hard, like you said, to get that set up dialed in, and it seems to be showing up. Put on a nice lead run here. He was out wide. Let's see what he can do through the S's.
Good on that clip, and what a view to see it. Mitch Jeffrey as well with that roof cam. We can see just that much closer to all the inside clips while still following Mitchell Cole.
Killer runs by both here. Let's see what Mitchell can do around the last corner. Can he get nice and wide? Not as wide as the judges want to see, but look at Mitchell Jeffrey on his door.
Yeah, really tucking in nicely there, and this will be the view to see it. Coming in on that entry, and then just calm and collected. You know, that seems to be the words I always use about Mitchell Jeffrey, because everything just seems to be clinically calculated. He chases so nicely, and you know that's what's earned him a spot in the top 8, going up against Bo Yates. James Ammett going to be facing off against Aaron Duar, Brad Toohey and Anthony Billick, and then Rob Arbolino up against Benny Mears. On the other side of the break, the Famous Insurance Pro-Am top 8 before the pros go head-to-head. Welcome back to round 2 of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars. Now, before we see the pros head out on track, we've got a new edition this year of the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series, a feeder series where some of the young guns can cut their teeth, or guys like Warwick Hill can double their seat time by entering both rounds. But either way, it's good to see a feeder series. You know, here's Glenn Ormerod here, getting a bit of coaching from Bo Yates, who's also driving that 13B KE70 tonight. But, you know, how important is it, Scott, for these guys to get their names up on the points ladder without having to worry about battling against the pros?
Building their confidence is obviously the first thing. Obviously, these guys aren't that familiar with that battle tree and how the battles work. So obviously getting that confidence up in your lead and chase runs in this Pro-Am series is really going to help them step up that next step up, which is coming against those big pros.
Speaking about confidence, hasn't Josh Shuttleworth just come along and really developed that level of driving in that XR6 Turbo Ute with a bit of tutelage from yours truly, eh?
Oh, modesty, mate. Yeah, Joshy, you know, helping him set up his car, and he really listens, and that car's getting nice and dialed, and it really shows on the track. The thing produces plenty of kilowatt to cook those tyres up nicely.
Few new names coming to the series, though. We've got Flash Smith in there, and you know, it's going to be a really interesting battle tree that I'm sure everyone in the crowd is interested to see. You know, a bit more of an achievable level of this motorsport. A lot of these cars, as much as they might not have plates on them, won't be too far from what you could see on the street, but you know, it's some pretty wild driving that you wouldn't want to see out there.
Joshy pushes nice and hard in that lead run, out wide, exactly what the judges want to see. Unfortunately, looks like Jeremy Kush's got a problem behind him in the chase. Look at that lead from Josh, just killing those tyres.
What a smoke machine.
Mate.
Seems to be bobbing up and down a little bit with that leaf spring rear, but you know, really, really cooking nicely and dutching out the track like a pro.
Yeah, that suspension in the rear, you know, it's next on Josh's list to get done. You're going to get a falling rear end in that thing, and once that happens, that thing's going to be very hard to compete against.
Tell you what though, he's putting up a good fight tonight, even as it is, getting the advantage there pretty easily with what looked like almost a pro level qualifying run, and it really shows the difference in these series. It's not that these Pro-Am guys couldn't mix it up with the pros, but it's giving them the chance to make a name for themselves, actually take some trophies home and battle against people that will push each other instead of getting gapped.
That's right, and Jeremy Kush out in the lead now with Josh Shuttleworth in the chase. Jeremy, it was a little bit shallow on that entry there, and Josh seemed to have a little bit of a straighten up. As they come through the bottom corner, Jeremy seems to be pulling a little bit of a gap on Josh. Let's see if Joshy can really min as they come up to the top corner.
It's funny, as much as Jeremy up on that front straight straightened a little bit, you can see the lack of grip there in the back of Josh's car, sitting there blazing, making heaps of smoke, but not quite getting the speed and drive he wanted out of the bottom section there.
Yeah, it's all in the rear end. Obviously, once that 4-link goes in, all those problems will be changed. As we come through the replay here, Josh Shuttleworth gets the win and goes on to the next round.
Yeah, he's going to be stoked with that one. Now for another battle, Isaac Gett up against Tim Schultz in the chase with that beautiful RB25 powered S13, and you had a steer of that last season, hey?
Last round, I sure did. Finished second in it. Killer car set up with the boys at Black Track Performance. This is Isaac. First competition here in the R33 in the lead run. Let's see if he can continue that good run that he's done so far.
I like seeing a bit of wild style vinyls and, you know, getting some lights in there and stuff like that. You know, everyone brings their own unique style to drifting, and if that's how Isaac's going to really make a name for himself and get out there and drive hard, then all power to him.
Schultz a bit shallow there in that chase run. The judges will score him down for that.
Hard one to split though, with Schultz getting the advantage there. So this is where it gets, you know, really difficult in this Pro-Am side of things, is the judges are trying not to be as critical and pick overall who's the better driver. But listen to that noise.
Schultz a good lead run as they come down to the bottom corner. Can he get out wide where the judges want to see him? Right on the edge of that track. Isaac Gett doing a killer chase run as they come to the last corner.
Big tip in from Isaac. He's chasing hard here. Not quite getting the distance he needs and gaining that proximity, but really tipping in hard and developing his skill there. Great drive from Isaac, but I got a feeling the judges, there's the confirmation, will be going with Tim Schultz.
This isn't that limiter, mate. Loving it.
Yeah, I know if you were up in the judging box, that'd be a point for each bash and he'd be getting $1 million.
That's it. Warwick Hill in the lead, Adam Fuller in the chase. 2J BMW singing.
Yeah, he's doing a bit of a cheeky this time, and we saw him do it in the first round as well, running in both the Pro and the Pro-Am, getting double the seat time, double the practice, and it seems to be working for him. That is a clean line through the bottom section, while Adam Fuller has a bit of a struggle trying to chase him down.
Looks like Adam Fuller's having a couple of problems with his car there. In qualifying, it was giving him troubles as well. Obviously, he hasn't got it sorted and just come out there and try to drive through it, and unfortunately, it didn't work for him in that one. Warwick with a killer lead run and did all the things that the judges wanted to see.
Yeah, that's motorsport, and you know, one of the things that I love about some of these drifters, you know, rightly or wrongly, they've got issues with the cars. They just shut their ears, open their eyes, and go drive. And you know, sometimes it works for you, and sometimes you see rods sprayed all over the track, like we saw a bit earlier in the night. But you know, at least they're out there having a go, and I know a lot of these guys will put their car on the line.
Oh!
Exactly like
Look
that.
at that.
Putting cars on the line just to try and, you know, win yourself a trophy. And Warwick Hill, big dirt dig on the rear wheel and front bar underneath it. Talk us through this.
Obviously, Adam Fuller coming into the spin, and Warwick's just driven behind him, and that dirt grabs your rear tyre. You are gone. It's going to pull you straight in, just like we saw there. As you can see, Warwick's going to come around, rear tyre grabs him, pulls him up the hill, destroys his front bar, pops his tyre off the bead.
As much as that bank's really safe for spectators, it's bloody hairy for drivers, and you know, pretty scary to be in the position of Warwick. He did a good job there to keep it off the higher barrier.
Glenn Ormerod out in the lead with Flash Smith in the chase.
This car recently got unveiled, I believe. Flash Smith's S15, you know, pretty crazy looking graphics on it, makes big power, and one of the wildest hardline fuel setups I've ever seen in a boot of a car in my life.
He's just gone from an SR20 setup to an RB setup, so he's just ironing out those few problems as you do when you're doing your setup. But obviously the car does look killer with that crazy wrap, but Glenn Ormerod out in the lead just doing everything right, mate.
I tell you what, I'm seeing shadows of bow in this tutelage of Glenn Ormerod. How clean is this line through the bottom section, practically onto that outside edge? There might be a little bit to go there, but I wouldn't see another Pro-Am even touching that track edge tonight.
Flash Smith in the lead, Glenn in the chase. Flash Smith a bit shallow there, you know, the judges really want to see you out there. It's probably the most critical point of the racetrack.
Oh man, this thing makes a good little noise. I'd love to be in there just revving that carby away. And look how much Glenn is working to keep this thing on power up against what would be, like a 400 kilowatt RB25, and he is with him.
Singing, isn't that thing just rev? Doing everything he needs to do. Flash again, shallow again on that top corner. The judge is going to score him down for that. I think it's going to be Glenn that takes this one.
Really smooth drive. He's got that one-hand technique, and we know we've seen that before as well. Really interesting clutch work. Working his way through the gears and keeping that NA13B on song, which is no small task. Well-deserved spot in the top 4 up against Warwick Hill with Josh Shuttleworth facing off against Tim Schultz. But before we see that, we're going to head back to the pros and see how the top 8 shapes up.
Yates there in the pits, getting the car ready for battles. That little K70 driving it tonight. Obviously his car's out of action.
Man, that is a sight to behold. It's been ages since I've seen Bo driving an NA chassis, but we'll wait and see a bit later on, because now Anthony Billick chasing down Brad Toohey, a guy that he's had his sights on for so long. And how hard's that chase?
Oh, look at these two. Brad Toohey, a little bit of obviously it was getting in his way. He's off it. Brad Toohey, a little bit of understeer on that entry, but ever since he sorted that out, man, this thing is destroying those Achilles tyres. Absolutely baking the track out with smoke. Exactly what we want to see. I don't even know the clipping points were, man. I couldn't even see it.
Nah, absolutely haze there. Billy getting hot and sweaty in the driver's seat. But it was interesting to see the difference in power. So Toohey coming up the front straight would open up that gap, but then Billy right there with him on those hard entries. So really tight battle to call, except for that big straighten up through the smoke there that I didn't see the first time round. Toohey
just doing everything right in that lead run. Out wide, every corner, on those clips, and just cooking those Achilles tyres to nothing. Obviously, Billy with that straighten up, as you saw through the smoke, which the judges are going to judge him down on that one.
But, Billy getting used to this new drop knuckle setup in the rear of the car. You can see how much grip it had there, having to, double clutch it off the line to try and get it on and going.
Toohey!
What a shape. How's the angle there on the switchback as well?
Wise fabbing through those S's, doing everything right. Let's see if he can get back on Billy's door, coming down through his bottom corner.
This thing's a rocket ship. You can see through the middle section there, Toohey slamming almost into the door of Billick and then having to lock up the brakes and slow down, losing a little bit of a gap there, but gaining it all back towards the end of the run. Very quick drive there from Brad Toohey.
Nice from both the boys. Let's take a look at this replay. Billick out in the lead. Toohey just right on his door, just doing everything right in that chase run. But as you can see, coming through now, Billick, obviously these drop knuckles are working to his advantage. The car got heaps of grip coming through his bottom corner. Pulls a little bit of a gap on Toohey as they come up to the last corner.
And it's good to be able to see that, that the lack of smoke off the back of Billick's car, actually gave it that extra grip, because smoke is speed being lost. When you see these things blazing, they're not using all the traction they could. Speaking about issues with grip there, Michael Bonney, a little bit conservative on the entry there, and that spat him straight.
Small mistake from Bonney in the entry. Judges aren't going to look at that on Rob's door, and another mistake from Bonney. Obviously the car's coming off boost, being that close to Rob, might be a little bit of grip difference between those two cars, but Rob out in the lead, just right on the edge of that track and just cooking those Achilles tyres.
We'd rather see a few mistakes from someone, a little bit unfamiliar from the track in Michael Bonney, but then bringing that absolute aggression in the chase as well, because, that's what every now and then may come together to be a flawless run. I think it's his switchback here where he's just in. Look at that!
Aggression gets me excited, and that's what Bonney was bringing to the table. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him this time. Let's see if he can turn around in his lead run.
Now, in the lead, Michael Bonney's really just going to have to be aggressive here on that entry. He did get sucked up that bank another time, like we've seen from Warwick Hill. And
Rob!
Yeah, Rob in there with him. Possibly just a lack of speed there from Michael Bonney, but through the middle section, let's see if his grip plays to his advantage. On the power onto the bottom straight, will he be able to open up a gap? There it goes, and you can see the difference in smoke there with Michael Bonney's car gripping and going and just spinning that little bit it needs to, while Arbolino is left there cooking out smoke. Still a strong run, though, from Rob Arbolino in the chase there. And, you know, considering the straighten-ups and a few of the issues that we saw earlier on in the run from Michael Bonney, yeah, the judges have called it right there. As much as we saw some really good points there from Bonney throughout, Rob Arbolino overall, very consistent and deserving the advantage.
Bonney will have the advantage when we go to Winton for the next round. As we go off now, James Abbott in the lead, Aaron Dwyer in the chase.
Straight cut gears are just the absolute sound of a race car. That's when you know you're in the office, and Aaron Dwyer treating it like his day job now. Nice and clinical and getting into it up the front straight, but can't seem to catch your boy Jabs.
Jabs with a nice lead run. Out wide on that top corner, which is obviously the critical corner.
It's interesting hearing those straight cut gears as well, because they give you an idea of the difference in wheel speed through these, so have a listen. As it comes up again onto that back straight and through those middle sections, that's how much these guys are pedaling it and changing the rear wheel speed to control and do what they need to do throughout the run.
Aaron Dwyer in the lead, James Abbott in the chase.
Snappy on the transitions through the middle too. That S14 just seemed to change direction a little bit quicker than Jabs' car, flicking it nicely through the middle zone there.
The Wise Pub catalogue in that one, mate, obviously doing its job.
Yeah, watch, nice and flicky here. Watch it, bang. Straight out to the other lock, you know, no lag there. But riding on board with Jabs, he was a lot closer to the clipping points. And from a technical perspective, that's why the judges gave him the advantage. As much as the driving style of Aaron Dwyer might have looked more aggressive, when you go back and look at the paperwork and go through all those clipping points, Jabs was a lot closer to what the judges wanted to see.
Bo Yates in the lead, Mitchell Jeffrey in the chase. Both throwing it down in that little K70 13B&A with Mitchell Jeffries in the chase in the 2JS13.
Yeah, it's a real NA dream. Like I was saying before, I mean, it's been years since I've seen Bo Yates throwing down in some sort of NA platform. You know, all of his vehicles well and truly north of the 300 kilowatt mark, while the 13B, probably lucky to make 100.
Bo Yates in the lead, doing everything the judges want to see. Killer run by both boys there as we take a look at the replay. Out nice and wide there. Mitchell Jeffries there on his door as they go for the S's. A little bit of a hesitation there from Jeffrey. Obviously his car is a little bit faster than Bo in the little NA 13B.
Yeah, it'll be a difficult one to chase because, you know, when Bo's on, you can't give him an inch or he will rocket away. But at the same time, through those little sections there, the high grip, high power S13 of Mitchell Jeffrey just makes it that little bit more difficult to keep yourself up on power and ready to rock it out without actually going into the rear quarter. So Bo got the advantage there in the first run, and we're right on board with him now.
Mitchell Jeffries in the lead, Bo in the chase as they carry in the corner. Jeffries out nice and wide there. They come through the S's. Let's see if Bo can get up on his door. This is where the grip level difference might start to take part.
Really pedaling it through that middle section there, but onto the front straight, and Mitchell Jeffrey is gone. Watch how hard his Bo is working for it here, trying to reel that gap in, but unfortunately unable to do so. At the same time, though, you know, speaking to the judges about the difference in powers around these cars, they do take that into account. So, you know, if a high-powered car gets out there and really gaps, you know, a lower-powered car, as long as through the corner sections you don't see that gap change, that's where they won't mark you down. But Mitch Jeffrey doing what he needed to do and really driving incredibly well both in the lead and the chase to get that advantage and go through and face off against James Abbott. Our other top four battle is going to be Brad Toohey and Rob Arbolino. Following that, we're going to head into the pointy end of the podium, but before that, a quick break and the famous insurance Pro Am. Welcome back to round 2 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars at Sydney Motorsport Park's Figure 8 circuit tonight. Heading into the famous Insurance Pro Am now for the pointy end of the battle, and the crowd is excited, as are the Hi-Tec Promo girls. We're about to head out there now. Scott, what are you keen to see in this battle between Tim Schultz and Josh Shuttleworth, two of your boys?
One word, carnage. That's it, mate. Honestly, these two boys push hard on door. If someone hits, that's good to me. And Schultzy getting up there on Josh's door.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in the back of that tray to load an S13 into, and Schultzy's trying, but pushing Shuttleworth off the track.
Joshy, what are you doing, mate? He's after getting a slap after the event.
Yeah, no contact there, but Schultzy pushing him with mental force, just getting in there so close and putting the pressure on, throwing Shuttleworth into a spin and through the midfield.
Not happy with that one, mate. No, he's doing good. Unfortunately, Joshy spins around there. Advantage going to be to Schultzy in the lead. Let's see if Josh can get on his door.
Another advantage here, seemingly in speed up the front straight. Schultzy is out and away. Shuttleworth pouring a bit of that back and getting a lot closer through the sweeper, actually. That thing's quick.
Let's see if he can gather him up as they come through the bottom corner. Schultzy doing a killer lead run here. Out nice and wide on all the corners. Exactly what the judges want to see. Listen to that thing on limbs.
Double dirt drops from those guys, though. Schultzy dropping a back wheel and then Shuttleworth dropping a rear as well. A little bit shallow there for Schultzy, but coming through nicely on the final clipping point. So with that spin early on, I'd say he's got it pretty safely.
Just listen to the limbs here from the black track boys. S13. RB is singing. And there you go. Schultzy gets the win. Obviously that mistake by Josh in that first run was just too much for him to gather back.
Cooking. Another Pro-Am battle now. We got Warwick Hill up against Glenn Ormerod. Glenn Ormerod, our current points leader. So I'd say keen to really hold on to that lead, but Warwick Hill driving in both the Pro-Am and the Pro Series tonight. So, has a bit more experience under his belt here and possibly might come through as well. So let's see how this battle goes.
Warwick Hill in the lead. I'm pretty sure he's in second place in the championship too, so this is a 1-2 battle. Whoever wins this might take the lead in the championship coming into round 3. Warwick Hill doing a nice lead run there, out nice and wide. Glenn there doing everything right, but unfortunately just getting a little bit far behind as they came around the back section of the racetrack.
Yeah, riding on board, you can see he's in there and tight, but just seeing a little over that wheel work there and possibly, just not quite having the power there, and then a bit of a correction across the bottom straight as well, letting Warwick Hill pull away, but the positions will be reversed now. Glenn Ormerod out in front, chased by Warwick Hill. Just a slight step behind there as Glenn changes direction. Warwick, that little step behind him there now. Glenn seems to get a better handle on that bottom straight without a car in front of him, and he's rocketing away up the front. Warwick coming in, big drag of the handbrake there and losing a bit of speed behind Glenn.
It's going to be a tough one to call, that one.
Both drivers had the advantage out in the lead, but it's their chase runs that'll really define this, that the judges will have to think long and hard about. And it didn't take them too long to come back with the one more run. The first time we're going to see this tonight.
Yeah, so obviously the person that qualified higher gets to choose whether they lead and chase in this one more run. And it all goes out on the table right now. If you make a mistake, you're gone because you only got one more run. There's not two in this one. Warwick Hill obviously chose to lead, being the high qualifier, with Glenn in the chase.
Will this work out for him though? In the earlier battles we did see both of them had the advantage in the chase, but it seems to me like Glenn Ormerod has gotten a handle on that little K70 and is chasing hard. There he is, right up and in there, tucking into that front guard. What a chase through the sweeper.
As we jump on board with Glenn, doing everything good in this nice chase. As they come through the S's, nice transition. Warwick starts to put it. Well, there you go. Warwick Hill gets the win.
Hard one for the judges to call there, but they've got a lot better view than we do, and it could have been something as simple as a missed clipping point or heading a little bit wide, so the decision is there. Tim Schultz going up against Warwick Hill for the top spot on the podium, while Josh Shuttleworth and Glenn Ormerod have to duke it out for third. tight battles in the Famous Insurance Pro-Am. But before that, we've got similar battles in the Pro top 4 now. James Abbott there, ready and raring to go once again with that wild style steering wheel. I love it.
Yeah, the Blaze unit. But first, Brad Toohey in the lead, Robert Bellino in the chase.
Battle of the LSs here, one of them with 2 superchargers, one of them with 2 turbos, both of them with a hell of a lot of power.
Brad Toohey out nice and wide there, Rob pushing up on his door as they come through the S's.
Looks like a bit of a straighten back there in the smoke from Rob Arbolino, skipping a front tyre across the infield.
The smoke on both these cars is absolutely clouding the track. Oh, Rob up nice and close on his door as they come around that last corner.
Yeah, a little bit of a gap early on in the run, but boy did he make up for it towards the end. Bit of a bobble here in the front wheels. Few issues there on the handbrake. Seemed pretty clean from Brad Toohey out in the front though, so it's going to be a hard one for the judges to call, but they have gone with Toohey. I mean, obviously there does seem to be the gap there. What I'm also meant is it's going to be a hard one for Arbolino to try and claw back, but he is in the lead now in a very high horsepowered car, and you see when he's got that clear air, he just fills it with smoke and gets going.
Coming around that first corner, good by both drivers as they come through the S's. Listen to those turbos roar, those superchargers on his door. Coming up to the last corner, Rob starts to pull away a gap on Toohey.
Big gap.
This could be the deciding factor of the run. Listen to that limbs.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? When you're the guy who has to pull the bearings and crank out of that motor, you don't mind hanging off it, do you?
Nah, why not? You got to do the work.
He's a ledge, that's why.
I do the same thing, but he's going to do all the work. He hates when I do it. Good run by both here. And there you go, Rob Bellino gets the win and goes through to the final.
Looks like he clawed it back there. Yeah, a few mistakes early on in the chase, but the lead run was perfect.
It's never easy with that much smoke on the track trying to do your chase run. So, a few mistakes from both boys there, and obviously the judges seen Rob did enough to get through. What's going on here?
Up? That doesn't look good for both drivers to get out on the line now. Bonnet pins up.
Jeffers does not look happy.
Ooh, helmet off as well. I'd say he's pretty confident that this car's not going on.
You'd be able to tell by the body language.
Ooh. Possibly a few issues under the bonnet there. I know he was fighting some ECU issues early on. Towards late last year as well, some stuff to do with coolant temp sensors and air temp sensors and stuff like that, sending it into limp mode. But, even then he was able to start it. And
oh, it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
that's always the hug of no good.
Oh, pretty bad there. And James Abbott going through to get a battle at least against one of his best mates there, Rob Arbolino. So, obviously not the way he wants to go through to the final, but could be a good night with Brad Toohey there. Pretty much getting the 3rd position now with Mitch Jeffrey out, unless, of course, he can get it back together under a 5-minute rule, but I very much doubt it by the look on his face.
Yeah, no, he looks pretty down and out there, so Brad Toohey might be getting that 3rd place position, but we'll wait to see from what we hear from down the track as we take off. Josh Shuttleworth in the lead, Glenn Momrod in the chase in the 3rd place battle for the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series.
And we still do get that battle for a bottom place on the podium, but it is in the Pro-Am. And it's great to see, this is where the real aggression comes out. First and second, obviously you want to win the event, but this battle is between who goes home for a trophy, so they're both on it.
Joshy on the lock stop through that first corner, absolutely smoking out the track. Can he do it again?
I think I see a clipping point.
Oh, he's done it again.
Oh, big spin there, unfortunately, but I think I saw a clipping point riding on board with Glenn Ormerod under the front lower control arm of that car. So he might have been, there it is, right under the front there, and he's chasing so hard regardless. Something would have felt a bit weird in the front end, but he's coming in behind Josh Shuttleworth and just tipped it in that little bit hard. Possibly rear tyres a little cooked, but good crash avoidance there for Glenn Ormerod.
Joshy around again. That's 2 slaps on the wrist now.
Harsh teacher up here in the booth.
Oh, what's going on? He's left him at the start line.
Seems like a bit of confusion here on how the staging process works in drifting, but again, that's what the Pro-Am Series is all about. If that's where Glenn can get an advantage doing that big launch off the line, then all power to him. Cone's still underneath the car on his 2nd run.
That's bonus points. Obviously, he's run off the track. Obviously, Glenn doing enough. Oh, no! What's got double spin?
That pretty much balances it out. You know, as much as there was a two-wheel drop through the bottom section, both cars have spun, allowing the chase driver to overtake, and that's an equal issue there. Difficult one for the judges.
Let's see how the judges score this one. And there you got it.
Seen a few one more runs in Pro-Am, which is good to see such tight competition between these guys, forcing repeat battles, but not only a repeat battle, just that single run, with the higher qualifier getting the chance to choose, and Glenn Ormerod has chosen to go out in front.
Josh not giving him the start off that he got last time. Drops the wheel there, unfortunately, in that top corner. Glenn doing everything right in that lead run.
Yeah, Joshy finding dirt, having a spin, possibly issues with rear grip in that car. Maybe the tyres are on it, who knows. But I think that falling setup you were talking about is really going to help his driving style.
Yeah, mate, that's the next thing on the list. You know, we've done everything up until now that we can do that car, and once that thing gets sorted, you know, the guy's going to be killer out there. Look, he just loves having fun, really, at the end of the day. We love it. That's what we want to see. As you can see now in the replay, Glenn out in that lead run. Josh drops the wheel there in that top corner. As they come through the S's, Glenn starts to pull away a little bit of a gap. And there you have it. Glenn Ormerod gets the win and gets that third position. Josh finishes in fourth.
He's going to be stoked about that as well, with Glenn Ormerod, our points leader in the series. But there's still Warwick Hill there as his second place competitor, going to be battling for first. So he's going to be biting his nails there, seeing how that ladder ends up against Tim Schultz. Both these cars making a fair bit of power from two hero motors. You know, the Toyota JZ up against the Nissan RB in Schultz's car. Both these cars turbo straight six with turbos on either side of the head.
Schultz, big lock on that first corner. Oh, getting nice and tight on Warwick Hill's door.
He's keen, isn't he?
Yeah, it's all about aggression, mate.
Feed it to him.
As they come to the last corner, Warwick starts to pull away. A fair bit of a gap on old mate Schultz.
Both these guys bobbling around a little bit as well. Don't seem quite confident with where they're going with their line, or, you know, if they're in the right gear or what the steering input's doing. So not exactly the confident battle we're expecting to see for first.
You gotta remember, it's very cold out here now, mate. So obviously the tyre pressures aren't getting up to that proper temp in their front tyres, which could be causing a lot of the dramas out there that the boys have got with grip issues at the moment. But, you know, decent runs by both. Let's see what Schultz can do in the lead and Warwick in the chase.
Yeah, at least Warwick started putting air in those rear tyres this time round, keeping them on the beads. So aggressive chase.
Oh, big lock. A little bit of a hesitation as he came on lock, but throwing it down on his lead run, putting a show on for the crowd. Exactly what the boys want to see.
He's angry out in the lead, isn't he? Lots of lock on all of these transitions.
Nice.
Smashing that outside track edge and blazing up onto the straight.
As they come to the last corner, comes down the last corner. Not bad.
Nailing that outside clipping zone back to back on his lead run there. As much as we saw some bobbles in the chase and, you know, from that first run from both drivers, Schultz really driving nicely there, and I'd say possibly putting a cemented place on the top of that podium from a really strong drive.
This is only his second round of competition ever, so you got to give it to old mate Schultz. There you have it. One more run. The boys going to go around again for that crucial run. Who's going to get on top spot?
To be fair, both drivers in the first run did have a few mistakes. Both drivers in the second run seemed a lot smoother. So as much as there was a gap there, I think the judges just wanted to see who really does deserve that spot in the top. I don't know if that was a push and both of them headed wide, or if Warwick headed wide and Schultz followed him.
Oh, I don't know, mate. Schultz pushing hard in that last one more run. This is what we want to see. If you make a mistake, you know, go for it. Can't get angry at that.
Really smashing that dirt section and outside track edge there. Possibly tyres going a little bit off on the three runs.
Schultz is off again.
Well, just after coming through and me saying, you know, basically deserves a spot on top of the podium, might have thrown it all away in that one more run.
Warwick does drop a wheel and Schultz, you know, on his door, unfortunately, but I think the judges are going to see that as Warwick's advantage.
Barely a lift, though. I saw him re-clutch and throw dirt all over the track there, ready to go.
He doesn't care, mate.
But that's it. Warwick Hill getting himself a spot on top of the podium. So that's our Famous Insurance Pro-Am results right there. This is the series
Here we
standing
go.
down with Warwick Hill jumping out in front of Glenn Ormerod, and Tim Schultz now tied with Josh Shuttleworth and Matt Walters rounding out the top 4. So, these guys really making a name for themselves. And how tight is that point spread across the top 5? I'm keen to see these guys going through the rest of the season and step it up at Winton next round. But before we get there, we have some of the final battles in the Hi-Tec Pro Series. Two of the boys, Rob Arbolino up against James Abbott. All you need there is a Shembry down on the side of the track and you'd have the boys.
Yeah, the tripod. Oh, Rob, nice and tight on Abbott's door as they cut on that first corner.
Now this is the sort of battle we expect to see for the top of the podium. Rob Arbolino diving in there, practically knocking on the door of James Abbott. But then onto the straight, Abbott seems to have the speed there. Dirt dropping a straight in from James Abbott there.
There's always going to be who makes that little mistake in this battle. Obviously, we drive a lot together, these boys, and they're out there putting a good show on for the crowd. Abbott in the lead, doing everything right up until now. Unfortunately, as they come around this last corner, you'll see pushing really hard, drops that wheel, and that's going to be pretty much advantage to Rob.
How good's that drive from Rob, though, being able to follow that line but reel it back in and keep it off the outside track edge and still on the black stuff?
Here we go.
Oh, big dive in from James Abbott there, practically touching bonnets.
Look at that. Straight from Japan there by Jabs.
Perfect emulation as well. Both cars changing direction at the exact same time. This is what a battle should be.
Give it away for the boys. Rob telling Jabs, come on, mate, get on me door. As they come in the last corner.
Shembry's shirt practically over his head at the moment. Too keen to see the boys.
That's it. That's what we want to see. Killer final battle there by the boys. Well done to both of them.
How's the wave out the window from Arbolino? It's like, come on, come here, mate, come on.
Come get me, mate. Well done by both here. As you can see, Jabs throwing it down, doing what he does best in that chase run.
Really nicely emulated. I think that's one of the few runs tonight where I've seen both cars change direction at the same time. But, Rob Arbolino out in front did a fantastic job, earned himself a point on the podium. Let's head down there now.
The first win for the team and myself in that car with this team. So, it shows a couple of practice nights pay off, and I'm finally starting to learn the car, and I'm starting to mix it with the big boys, So taking out Jabbett and Tui in one night is definitely something to party about. Yeah, without the sponsors, obviously Hi-Tec Oils, the car, the event, all the officials, Hog's Breath Cafe, Achilles Radial, Famous Car Insurance. Without all of them, none of this is possible. So again, thank you to all of them.
What an absolute legend, deserving that spot on top of the ladder, and now within striking distance of Brad Tui. Rob Arbolino is tied for second position with Bo Yates, James Abbott behind him, and Mitch Jeffrey rounding out that top 5 there, knocking Nick Rosenblatt off because he didn't rock up tonight and come have a run. So the competition is thick heading into round 3 down at Winton in Victoria on the 26th of August. And you know what? We're going to have a practice event on the 25th as well. So if you've ever wanted to come and see these guys drive, or better yet, try and door one of them, this is your chance to go out and have a skid.
That's it. I might have to come out of retirement for this one.
Oh, mate, I might have a steer as well. It's going to be a great event, so don't miss it.